This is a quick video on an issue I discovered with my Samsung dryer. Mine is the DV4285600EW/A3. Looks kind of like that. I got mine at Lowe's a few years ago, I think back in 2014. But earlier today, I discovered that when I would start a dry cycle, the dryer would spin for approximately 5 seconds. It was more like about 6 seconds, but most places, if you search for it, most people think it's about 5 seconds. Um, anyway, it would spin for about 5 seconds, and then it would stop for about 2.5 minutes. Just shy of 2.5 minutes in most cases. My timing was about 2 minutes 24 seconds or so, and then it would spin for another 5 to 6 seconds, and this would repeat until the timer would completely run down on the cycle. Of course, the clothing, it wasn't getting dry because it wasn't moving any air. The heating element wasn't heating up. Nothing was working except the logic was counting down. I looked on the internet, and the clues led me toward the centrifugal switch on the motor assembly. Now, this is bad on my dryer, but I also discovered when I opened the dryer, for one thing, the drive belt was intact. This is the drive belt. It's kind of out of focus here if I can get it to focus, but the drive belt is intact. No problems with necessarily with this drive belt. However, it had worn a groove in the idler pulley all the way down to the outer race of this bushing. So if you can get a good look at it here, yeah, it wore all the way into the idler completely. So I thought this maybe was where my problems were, but it still didn't account for the starting and stopping. Now keep in mind, this was actually tumbling. It was the belt was riding on that surface, and the drum was tumbling. And until yesterday, it was tumbling just fine and completing cycles like it was supposed to. I would use this dryer at least once a day in a lot of cases. So this has been happening though over the course of weeks and months, I'm sure. So this idler seized up. I've since freed it up a little bit so you can turn it, but it was rock solid. So this idler seized up, and the belt began to cut into it. Now, I didn't stop there. I did want to take a look at the motor start, the centrifugal switch. And this is the switch as it sits right now. And it's kind of difficult to see, but this lower set of contacts was actually fused. So this contact that I'm actuating right here, it was fused, it was stuck. This upper contact was okay, it was moving just fine. And if you manually click the switch, it was both only in this orientation, only the upper set of contacts were actually moving and changing. This bottom set, they were fused. I did pry them apart, but I'm not putting this back together to use it because it's not going to work. But I did want to take a look at that. So in my guess is what happened is the idler fused, or the idler seized up, and the starting current for the motor has exceeded the current capacity of this switch and caused these contacts to fuse. So anytime you have an issue with your belt, with your idler seizing up like that, you should probably check that switch as well, because you could have some problems there. And if the symptoms lead you toward the centrifugal switch on the motor, then you may have an issue with your idler and belt that may have cascaded and caused a problem here. So I've looked up the part numbers for the replacement parts. I checked on this is going to be on Appliance Parts Pros, and for my dryer, the parts that I need are going to be the belt, the dryer drum belt, which is a part number AP43733659. Wish that wasn't there. That's a little better. Also, I'm going to need the idler assembly. I could get just the idler wheel, but the idler assembly is AP6038887. And also, unfortunately, you cannot get the centrifugal switch assembly by itself. So I am going to order also the drive motor, which has the centrifugal switch, and it's an AP5331095. Now, this side is a bit expensive, so I'm getting all the parts off of Amazon. I can get the belt and the idler assembly for $16.88 on Amazon. Verify for your application all of the part numbers and make sure that everything is cross-referencing correctly, and also the motor assembly for this dryer. Let's see if I can find it. The one that I'll be getting, I'm just getting the cheapest one that I can see, which is $77.95. The motor number is DC31000055G for this application, and it looks identical to mine, so I don't think this is going to be a problem. It's considerably more expensive on other websites. So this is what I'm going with. I'm no stranger to fixing appliances, so if this motor only lasts 2 or 3 years, I can go ahead and swap it out at that time, and then I may make the decision. It just depends to opt for a more expensive motor at that time. It depends on how long it lasts, but I'm not going to put really top end expensive parts in it, because I can change these out anytime I want. So, but I wanted to put this video up there because I haven't found anything on YouTube about specifically these two failures together, and the symptoms that I was having, which I was having, the dryer was tumbling for about 5 seconds on cycle start, and then it was stopping, the motor was shutting off for 2.5 minutes, and then restarting for another 5 seconds, cycle repeating until the entire dry cycle, no matter what cycle was selected on the front panel. Not a lot of information on those specific symptoms, so that's why I'm putting this video up there. Hopefully this helps some of you guys out. So thanks a lot for watching.